And so I'm going to circle back to
Yeah, because you still need to finish out the other two, and then
yeah,
finish
yeah.
out. Yeah, go right ahead. I
So
got
the
off my soapbox.
so the other one that I want to say is playfulness, right? A woman should consider a man that is playful, right? Because all work and no play makes for a very dull day, right? And a very um bland man, right? If that man can't play, then what is he really expressing? A man that can't play has no expression. You want somebody who can express themselves, that express their wants, expresses their desires, expresses, just the things like in the joke, the joking around, that childlikeness, right? Not a childish person. You don't want a childish man. You don't want a childish man. You don't want a childish man. No, I said childlike, has that sense of awe and wonder, and is willing to be curious, and take certain risks, that person that's willing to go and play at the park even though they're still grown, that is they're so secure in who they are, they're not concerned about who's watching. You want to be with a man that has that confidence, right? Because a man that will do that will grab you by the hand and say, let's go. And they'll look at you with that sparkle in their eye that will cause you to just melt and say, lead the way, right? In a place the way you feel safe. You feel secure because this man has such a presence and a confidence that he's willing to go and to do these things, to be silly with you, for you, right? That playfulness. I'm not talking about childish games. We're not talking. I'm talking about those things. That's not what I mean. Do you want me to keep going? Or you want to respond?
I want you to explain the woman's side. What does the woman need?
What do you mean as far as like a in
Like
that?
like for a guy that's looking for like, the ideal woman, what should stand out?
Wow.
Because I think, we do have a primitive mind, and I think guys get caught up with the shiny I don't want to like actually label women as like a thing by any means, but it's just like they're beautiful way more than guys. I think hands down women can agree, being that they're biased, but I think hands down every sex, whether you're man or woman, can agree that women are the more beautiful species. And I think it's just blinding for a lot of guys that they don't get their priorities straight because that's the surface level.
Mm.
I've actually asked quite a few women. I was like, "Do you ever feel like when you go to a makeup store, it's kind of like a guy's version of going to like a fish and tackle?" Because you kind of technically are finding your favorite lure in a way. Like, what color am I going to put on my face, and what type of brush do I need to, get? Is it going to be a big brush or a small brush, which would be like the fishing rod, right? Like, all joking aside, but it's like it's kind of like that facade. Like, you get us with the sparkly little like fishing lure, and then we're reeled in. It's like, and then some of you aren't the greatest, just like some of us guys aren't the greatest as well. But it's like, so that's why I'm saying if we can actually open up the fishing lure and look inside, what are those three qualities that we should be looking for?
Not the bass shop comparison.
I'm not saying women are a bass shop. I said that when they go to a makeup store, it's like going to a fish and tackle for guys because they're putting on their favorite lure, if you will, because they lure us in with their beauty.
I was like, I understand, but you definitely pulled out that Dick Sporting Goods metaphor here. It's just like, you know, casting rod, are we fly fishing or deep sea? What are we, what are we doing? I will say this, and
I mean, you got the perfume, so it's like chumming the waters, right? You got to spray the water to like
well,
get the
I mean,
fish
I like a
attracted.
good perfume. It's like
Yeah.
I like a good perfume. And don't get me wrong, when a woman wears, and she goes and she puts on makeup, not that she needs it, she puts on makeup and she comes out polished and pristine. It's like there have been times I have caught myself. I'll see somebody and I will be stopped dead in my tracks, and it's just like, wow. And
And it's not
I'm
a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all because I mean,
right.
that's one of the things that I think guys should look for, just like women should look for a guy that are consistent with taking care of themselves. That's also, not to cut you off, but I wanted to add to now I think about the 18 months. There's a lot of times if you're dating a woman early in the stages, and for guys, we show up or we send like someone up to the interview. Why are you shaking your head?
I already know where you're going. I know where you're about to
Okay, all right.
say.
Tell me if I'm wrong. So you go on your date, you go on your second date, house is all clean, you got everything situated. Tell me, how does things look 6 months down the line when you rushed into that? How do things look 9 months? Did the woman or man just shove everything into their closet and make it appear that the room was all clean? Or is it like, and then they start letting things go as like just 1 year went by? Like,
Well, first of all, and this is me, right? I may seem like I'm out here wilding out, like I'm a party boy, but if you in the apartment on the second date, like what's going on really? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, is it a nightcap? You just picking somebody up, but that's neither here nor there. And if that's you, hey, but for me, it's like I have very strict rules, and a lot of people don't like my rules, right? If I'm, and this is me, I call me old school, right? Call me old school, call me cookie cutter, call me whatever you want, right? Shout out to Tori Kelly, right? But for me, if it's after 9 o'clock p.m., I'm not calling you. I'm not gonna call you because if it's after 9 o'clock, for me as a respectable man, I would not be calling a female after 9 o'clock because what am I really trying to talk about? The workday is over. We are not talking about work. Okay. Two, it's like you will never be over my house by yourself, right? I'm not coming over to your place by myself. I may come to the door, but I am not crossing that threshold. Not going to do it. So it's like it doesn't matter what time of day, right? Unless there are other people with us, you're not coming in and I'm not coming in because I may look like this, but I promise you, I am not a safe person. Okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. And so the third thing is I'm not going to bring up something in our conversations that I can't say with authentic genuineness. I'm not going to flirt with you. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to do those things. So if I tell you something in the conversation, if I compliment you and I say something, you better damn well know I mean what I just said. And so that's why I don't say a lot of stuff because I know how potent some of my expressions can be. And I don't want them to be taken the wrong way. Right?
so ladies that are listening, I think he described Dracula. He doesn't hang out late past night. He's dangerous. He doesn't say a lot of words.
And then I give the little evil laugh right there. I can't with you. I can't. But that's what that's what I mean. So to answer that question for you, right? To go back to what we were talking about for a woman, that's difficult, right? Because I would say what a man should look for in a woman is, does she see you, right? It's not a one word thing. Does she truly, truly see you for who you are, where you are, not as a potential, right? I can't stand when women say, "Oh, he has potential." You're already not, you're missing the point because you're looking at the potential and now I'm a project for you. Now you're here to see where it leads instead of just being here and seeing me who I am now. So, men, you want to be with a woman that sees you right now. Yeah, you may not be put together, but they see you. They see all of you, the efforts, they see the growth, they see you, and they're there with you. They're right there, right? They're not in the future. They're not at the altar waiting for you to show up, right? They're
Oh,
right
they're
there.
gonna think that anyways,
I
though.
know, but you asked me like that. Be with a woman that sees you, right?
Well, how would they know that?
They will know because there's no pressure.
I mean, I don't know.
There's
I'm
no
not
pressure.
I'm not trying to downplay your thing, but I think there's always pressure though. There's always pressure because if men are smart, which unfortunately I think a lot of us aren't, uh, I don't think they're very sensitive to women's biological clock. That's the pressure.
But that's not what I'm talking about. When I say there's no pressure, she holds space, right? That's why I say it's difficult because you want if the woman is holding space, right?
Yeah, but I
Not
feel like they all hold space to a certain degree. Like they put us on their timetable. Like,
but
okay, I can see this working, but it's going to be 3 years if he doesn't do this at this particular mark. So it's an ultimatum. Like,
but that's what I'm talking about. If you get that sense, then that's pressure. If she's just showing up, like say for instance, you know that you're not together, you know that you're still working on things and you're communicating that and you are showing up, and she is holding that space in such a way that she allows you to be present, she allows you to figure it out. She's not telling you you need to do this, you need to get it together. That she's not laying this stuff out, and she's letting you be and allowing you to become in the way that only you can. And she's there. She's holding that space, that presence, and she's giving you the room to grow without backing out, without shrieking, and she's not compromising herself. Like her being there is like a gentle challenge, but it's a very sure challenge to say, I see you, I'm not going to compromise. And it's like, and she's holding you accountable. Like she is showing up in a place that you feel respected, that your process is respected. That's sexy. I don't care what nobody says. Like you could look me in my eye, not back down, not shrink, and you are letting me become in front of you as undone, as disheveled as they may look, and you are still seeing me as a man. That is sexy. That that is potent. That will bring any primalness out of any man when they finally see it. So if she's not bringing that presence with you, if she's not holding that space, if she's not showing up and saying I see you, and she's not allowing you to be without that pressure, she ain't it. That ain't her.
well, I guess that's why I haven't seen that. So you probably have seen that.
That's not this episode.
You brought it up, so it tells me that you've seen that because I
It's
surely haven't
like,
seen that.
you see me, oh, you see my passion,
Hmm.
guy. It's
Hmm.
like I have tasted that. Now
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
people like saying, well, why are you still single? That's not this episode.
Yeah. No, I'm not dogging you on that. I'm just saying, like, obviously you had seen that before, and like throughout my experiences, I've never seen that.
It's like, and that's how I'm able to talk about it, right? It's like when that happens, there is like, so my brother and I, so real quick, diving into that relationship between my brother and I, we have this term called the unknown known, right? And most guys, when I say that, they kind of get a sense of exactly what that means. When you have made a connection with somebody, there is this feeling that happens. It kind of happens like right here at the center of your chest. It's like this warmth that just comes and it's like a drawing that just draws you to that person, and it kind of lives rent free right here in the center of your core, and you can't describe it, but you can definitely feel it. And I told my brother, it's like I'm gonna name it the unknown known. And then as soon as I said it, he was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And most men, if they're really honest, when they have made a connection, usually it happens with between them and one of their buddies, right? They have that connection. It just feels like, like it's you can't put words to it, but you know exactly what it is. You can have that, but also in a relationship with a woman, but it's different, right? So when you find that relationship and you feel that, that's when you know. That's when you know. If you're not getting that sense right there, keep looking.
Well, that's a really hard one. So great, for humanity and all men. So what are your other two?
That was the second one.
Oh, what was the first one?
She
You
sees
haven't.
you.
Oh, you ran that together, so that's why.
I re-emphasized it, right?
What's your third one?
Um,
So excited to hear this third one. I just like, wow. I believe in you, women. I know there's some of you out there that have that.
this one is a little bit more straightforward, right? She's done the work, right? She's done the work. Like, I'm not trying to come into a situation,
Wait, this
excuse
is a
me.
trait?
No, no, no. Like she's done the work. Like she's she's faced her internal issues, or at
Okay.
least she has addressed as many of them as possible before she came and met you. Like I'm not trying to deal with no daddy issues, ex-boyfriend issues, or anything like that. You know who you are. You know who you are, and you're bringing your whole self to the table. I'm not trying to do 1 plus 1 equals 2. I want my whole self to show up, your whole self to show up, not half of me and half of you. We're trying to be one. It's like you've done the work. You faced your own demons, and you're still facing those issues. And you have put the time in before coming here to get your own stuff together, right? You're bringing your passion, your purpose, your ambitions, your drive to the table, and you're not just riding on mine, right? And you're not trying to get a ticket to me just sweeping you off your feet and say, "Oh, you're gonna do everything for me." No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And if that's your expectation, I'm gonna bust that bubble right now because I'm not here to do everything for you. You should have already done that before you met me. You
Sounds
should
like
not, right?
met that opposite one before.
Yeah, you should not need me. I should be a choice. Just like I don't necessarily need you. It's a
Hmm.
choice. I'm choosing you. I
Hmm.
would much rather be chosen than needed. So when you're with a woman that's coming to you, you should be the option, not the requirement. That's what I mean. She's done the work. Like, and I'm not saying she has the mindset that she don't need a man. It's like no, because then she's not showing up in her divine femininity.
Hmm.
She knows herself, and she
Hmm.
knows what complements herself, right? But she's showing up knowing that you are an option, not a requirement, a choice, and not a need, right? Because she can write her own check. She just wants to cash it with you, right? That's what I mean. And everything else. all of everything else, faith driven, all that stuff like that, it falls into there because the parameters are set with those bigger high level things. Because that list can go on for days. But you have that, she sees you, she doesn't have pressure, right? She doesn't apply pressure, and she comes already have done it doing the work.
They're good. So is there any way to kind of like filter that out? Like some quick things so guys can like not necessarily like, we talked about like how time is precious. Everyone's time, whether you're listening to us ramble on back and forth, everyone's time is precious. So is there a way that you think that women and men can kind of filter through the fluff and find that right person?
Well, yeah, you got to deal with the BS in your own life first. Because if you're still dealing with your own BS, you're going to deal with other people's BS. When you don't have that type of, uh, when you don't hold yourself with that, you won't hold other people with that. You have to do is go back. It goes back to what you've been saying throughout this whole episode. Man, you got to do the work first. You can't expect somebody to come show up pristine and be able to recognize it if you don't do it first and see it and see it with you first. You have to do it first. You
So,
gotta.
so, thank you, Locker Room, for asking me what I thought about maybe some traits that would help men. So, because you asked, I think I'm going to draw up my list.
Oh, you
So,
bringing out the wait. No, are you bringing out the list?
yeah,
Yeah. You bringing out the guys though.
don't
Listen.
don't elaborate on it. Don't elaborate on
No,
it.
no,
So,
no. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. This is a treat, you guys. This is a treat. You are a special moment right now. Go
okay,
ahead.
and I would say this isn't just for men. For women, if you've been doing this, get your house in order. Okay. For women that don't even match this, please please save yourself for the right man. I'm sure you already have, but like, please don't ruin it with the wrong guy. And for wrong guys out there, get your house in order as well. So, five types of women to not get in a relationship with unless you want to ruin your future and make your life a living roller coaster of funness. So, validation queen. For all you women that can't get away from Instagram, you got to take your selfies and constantly look at your DMs and all that. It's not going to be the right one. You can pretty much get that right on date one. They can't stay away from their phone. Um, I think you've already gathered from listening to us ramble on too, is that Locker Room and myself are kind of old school. I really try to be present as much as possible for anyone that I'm with. So I'm not like looking at my phone for distractions, anything like that. I know that's just how we've been conditioned. Put your phone down and be present with that person if it's going to be that first date, second date, whatever. Even if it's been a 50-year marriage, put your phone down if someone's talking to you. That's what I did with my previous relationship. Whenever they're talking to me, I wanted to be fully present if there was something of concern or something that they wanted to celebrate.
Hold on, wait a minute. I gotta. So why did you give me so much heat when I talked about presents? And it's on your list.
Well, the way that you're explaining presence was a little bit more. It was that's why I even asked you. I was like present, like I'm here, and so that's why I wanted you to elaborate a little bit more.
Okay, I'll give you that.
The second one is alpha woman. Masculine. So what I mean by that is like you can go to the gym. I'm all for women going to the gym. It's more about like they feel that they need to dominate the relationship. So I feel like a lot of times us guys have been kind of getting the bad rap with the Me Too movement. No thanks to those a-holes of guys. I get why the Me Too movement's around, but it doesn't mean that women need to set aside their femininity and become masculine and try to be the man in the relationship. Like you need to stay away from that because they have, lack of better words, unfortunately, daddy issues. And they don't know how to cope because they didn't have a real man in their life. They were either physically abused or even worse. So you just need to kind of like make sure that they get their house in order. And I'm not saying that there's all hope lost for, those women. I'm just saying that you do need to get the house in order. So then that way you can be a good woman for that man. And the same thing for you men out there. I know we're fixers, and some of you have been in relationships where you wonder why you can't communicate with that woman because you're trying to fix whatever the problem was, but she really wanted you to listen. So,
Can you before you keep going, can you elaborate just a little bit more on that? Because that's important. That not trying to fix things, because I'm not going to put my 2 cents in there because this is your list, but can you elaborate just a little bit more on that?
yeah, so I think a lot of times, again, and I think I said this on episode one as well, where we're talking about how we feel like we want to be there for our partner. And so that's why I was also explaining earlier when I was wording, the body shaming thing. You got to think about the purpose of the man in your relationship. Look at the qualities and look at, what the purpose is for the relationship. Is your partner really there to hurt you? And yeah, he may not be talking in the love language that you're expecting, and his way is actions and yours is maybe words of affirmation, like I'm going to be there for you, rather than saying, well, we just need to like, go talk to this woman that gave you a hard time at work or whatever. A lot of times, us guys, even though women speak more than us men, regardless of how our podcast is going right now, there's no women on it. It turns out that we just need to be quiet, put our hand, on the woman's back and just let him know that we're there. That's probably the most impactful thing that you can do. You're not going to be able to ever fix every single problem that arises for a woman. And in fact, it's probably best that the woman solves that problem that is arose, just like when we allowed children to scrape their knees. It's better for them to get back on the bike and keep riding because they're going to find so much more accomplishment, just like we find so much more accomplishment going through life's own struggles rather than someone else digging us out of our own hole. We learn a lot more from it. So I can just say full circle, be present for your woman rather than trying to fix her or fix the problem around her.
Mm.
Good.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Third one, unavailable. So basically, for guys that are not in a relationship and they are on these dating apps, not that I have anything bad to really say about it. I mean, I just understand like, I'm not going to be like some person from the early 1900s and say get off the dating apps, all right? I'm not saying that. What I am saying is make sure that the woman that you're dating is in the same city as you are, area code, even zip code. That would be awesome. Because, like Locker Room was saying, he's not all about, being alone, not because he's dangerous, but, it just creates a sense of opportunity. And if you allow your woman to be alone in another area for a long enough time, or man, probably not going to have a faithful relationship. Just saying. There's just too much temptation in this world. Um, Even personally speaking, uh, I never even heard of what's called emotional cheating. So that, I didn't know that would actually exist, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's a big one.
people can get cheated on physically, but I never even heard of emotional cheating. Like that's crazy. So just make sure that, the person's in the same area that's a drive away and not like an hour drive away. But for you, some of you that haven't heard of this term, just to elaborate, emotional cheating is just basically someone that, you make have a relationship or a marriage with, and then you find out on their phone that they're on some dating app and they're not physically being with them, but maybe they're, sending inappropriate pictures with somebody else or building a connection. That's that's where I mean it's weird, but I can see women doing that more often than guys because um, these adult novel books that are coming out now that's starting to become a trend as well.
Bro, that's not starting to become a trend. That's been a trend.
Well, I'm trying to, as us guys, we do tend to walk on eggshells, so I'm being mindful to our, yes, I know that too. All right, I was fluffing it a little bit. Yes, I know it's a trend. All right.
Bro, this is the locker room chats. We show up. We show up, bro. Come on. There's ain't no eggshells here.
Well, you mean it got me a little off whack with talking about body shaming and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
No, no, no. I know you're not doing that, and and I just wanted to make sure because we're considering those who are listening, whether they're seeing this on the video or if they're tuning in on their podcast, right? It's like I know you. I know that's not what you mean, and
Yeah.
just to clarify for our audience too. So, but this is the locker room. It's like, and I have to say this, me just being direct. It's like don't come into the locker room if you don't want to hear the chat. It's like one thing about the locker room is that you never know what you're going to get. But if you're coming in, you've accepted those consequences, right?
The fourth one is masculator or insecure women. These toxic women will belittle you guys to make herself feel better than you. So again, these are all like things that, if you're noticing this in an existing relationship, or a starting relationship, you need to get away. And sunk costs, it's never worth it, man, because time and energy are the two things that you'll never get back, guys. So you're just gonna need to put on your big boy pants and step out and find something new, work on yourself, find out how in the world you got into that, take accountability and move on. And then the fifth one is unstable. And as I had mentioned earlier, anxiety is on the rise. So
Mm, hmm
if
hmm
she is, and to define anxiety, it's just basically trapped energy and they don't know what to do with it. So if they haven't figured that out, you need to get rid of that one as well. And for women that are suffering from anxiety problems and things of that nature, you need to maybe do some exercise, find some healthy outlets, find some tools, read some books on working on yourself. I'm not saying all hope's lost, but again, these are things that are flags that are not healthy in a relationship. And that's why I'm saying it. Again, it's not to bash on women or men, but it needs to be something that we need to be aware of so we don't have to have regrets and be trapped in that rat race or in that hamster wheel where we feel like we're doing the same thing over and over again. Um, so pay mind, you pay some attention to, these top five right here. So then that way you will be set up for success because I can't stress enough a strong woman in your life is going to make your world so much better, man. And women, thank you for those that have healthy relationships. So then that way, we do have a, promising future for any children you wish to bring into this world as well.
No, that's great. That's really great. And you guys, it's like, and all. I know we joke around, or we play around stuff like that, but he did touch on something really, really key. Um, we're not here offering, giving you advice and say this is what you need to do. This is our thoughts, right? They're merely suggestions. Whether you take them or not, that's up to you, right? But if you are dealing with things like really, really facing things and have areas of opportunity, because nobody wants to feel like they have issues. So if you notice some areas of opportunity in life, it's okay to go and have a chit chat with a counselor or a therapist or something like that, or a person who has professional skills that can help you navigate that, right? They have the tools and the resources available to help you navigate those areas of opportunities in a way that you feel comfortable, you feel supported, and you feel safe, right? we're not here to say that, oh, don't do that because that's taboo. No, we're encouraging it, right? Because I've gone and talked to people in counseling sessions and things like that. And I know people who are counselors and who are therapists and everything like that. And they even go to counseling and therapists, right? It's not something that you should shy away from. It's definitely something that we encourage here at the locker room. That's a part of our culture. Like that's how you can become the better, right? And face the old. So
I'm going to encourage that if you do go and look for therapy, I would, kind of like a date, right? You want to find the right attorney. Hopefully you don't have to get an attorney. You want to find the right doctor, to cure you or heal you from whatever illness you have. But with therapy, I know for a lot of people, even for women that do a really good job at communication, and us guys need to work on it, it feels good to talk about it. But it's another thing to be equipped with tools. So I would just encourage you guys out there to look for, those therapists, and also women too. Are any of them equipped to give you tools to deal with life outside those four walls that you have an hour session with for over $100 an hour? Because otherwise, it's just a very expensive talking session. And I also would stress, maybe I'm not trying to get holistic on people, but I feel like a lot of times, going back to diet, you are what you eat. Um, some of those things can actually be remedied by just the proper diet.
very true. Very true.